Hey, my name is Morrison Neesmith, and I did my cell signaling project on Alzheimer's. And first, I'm going to start off with some of the background information. It was discovered by German physician Alois Alzheimer, and it was discovered on November 3rd, 1906. Around 44 million people with Alzheimer's, and it is a form of dementia. It's a progress disease that destroys memory and other mental functions over time, and its brain cell connections that themselves degenerate and die, eventually destroying memory and other important mental functions. So it's not something that just happens one day. It's something that takes time and it generates over time, so it gets worse over time. It's a progressive disease. And it's also caused by a combination of genetic, lifestyle, and environmental function factors that affect the brain. And even though there's a lot of information known on Alzheimer's, still all of it is not known, and scientists do not know everything about it. And next, I'm going to go into some of the differences and similarities between the normal pathway and also the disease pathway, which is also known as Alzheimer's. All right. So the normal pathway, a sending cell produces a chemical signal. The chemical signal is released and is accepted by a neighboring cell. Signal binds to receptor, causing a change in the shape or activity of the receptor, and this also leads to a response. In the disease pathway, normal process of cell signaling is disrupted because of damage of the neurons. Cell signaling is affected because of the abnormal structures that are formed. So here's a picture right here of the normal brain. So on the normal brain, you have two insulin receptors, and then also you have TNFR. But as you can see in the AD, or also known as the Alzheimer's brain, you have one insulin receptor, and then you have the TNFR, but you also have plenty more TNFF. And compared to in the normal brain, you have two AB oligomers, but in the Alzheimer's brain, you have plenty more AB oligomers. And so all this leads to, in the AD brain, it all leads to neuronal growth, survival, and it also leads to impaired and loss of memory. All right. So that's some of the differences between the normal brain and the Alzheimer's brain. Next, I want to talk about some of the different mechanisms of the Alzheimer's. So these are some things that contribute to it and how it works over time. So it's a neuronal death throughout the brain. That's what it all is in general. And the Alzheimer's is a neuronal death throughout the brain. And is a formation of clusters of misfolded proteins inside and outside of neurons. In Alzheimer's, misfolded forms of amyloid beta clump together in deposit called amyloid plaques. So when these different amyloids are released, they usually just go off and they are soluble. But during Alzheimer's, they all stick together and they become insoluble. This is what the problem is. Tau proteins are also found in the misfolded state, and it accumulates in bundles called neurofibrillars tangles. Next, I want to talk about some of the treatments. All right, so some of the treatments are drugs that inhibit the activity of acetylcholinesterase, and an enzyme that breaks down the neurotransmitters, acetylcholine. These drugs, acetylcholinesterase inhibitors, increase levels of acetylcholine, which is thought to provide healthy cognitive and memory. And effects are modest and it's not a cure, but it's something that can be treated. And if it is treated soon, it can probably slow down some of the effects of Alzheimer's. And these medications and management strategies may temporarily improve symptoms. So again, they're not a cure, but these are some different type of things that can help it over time. And it's like cancer. If you figure out that you have it, the sooner better. The sooner you figure out that you have it, it's the better for it. You know what I mean. All right. And also, so here are some of the pictures right here. For an example, we have the healthy brain right here, and we have the Alzheimer's brain. As you can see, the healthy brain is much more red and much more healthier. As when you typically think of a brain, this is what you typically think of. It's much more full. But when you look at the Alzheimer's brain, it's more like think of like a smoker's lung. When you look at a normal lung compared to a smoker's lung, it's much more crumbled up, and the color over time changes. And it's kind of missing a bunch of parts in here, and it's shriveled up. It's like when you have like something and it loses water, it becomes shriveled up. So that's how you compare a healthy brain to an Alzheimer's brain too. I also have a picture right here of a man, And as you can see, it's a question mark above his head. And it also is a clock and a calendar. As you can see, he is questioning and shrugging his shoulders because over time you do lose memories and you do lose track of time. So you forget a lot of things and you lose a lot of memories, and it mainly affects many families because they forget their different families, members, and all that. And for my third picture, I have a brain that has a bandage on it. It has a sad face because, as you can see, if you refer back to this brain is healthy and this is not healthy, so the brain will become sad in a sense. And that's all I have for my project. Thank you.